Why did it really fucking piss me off? Well, first off, I had my fucking sister literally stare at me in the eyes as if to say, I'm not happy. There's tears going down her cheek, and she's explaining about how she enjoyed herself in the day, to the point where I've seen that same fucking creep staring at some fucking girl, I can't remember who. Basically, I was like, I don't know. And I thought, hang on a minute, I know him. Just as I pressed the X on him, it was like, he's been staring at her, and that's my sister's fella. He's a right perverted bastard. I just knew it. It was just the way he was, mate. We had this one meal, the first time I met him, and my sister looked tearful in the eyes when she was trying to explain what she'd done with the day. And he's trying to comfort her. It just came over as snide in every fucking way. This is what you've achieved, Adam. You've let the one person I thought you could love better than anyone live with a kite who she thinks she's going to live with the rest of her life for. And he's a cunt. He literally is slimy. He reminds me of a paedophile. He looks like what Lou would say a child's drawing of a paedophile looks like. It would embarrass me to say that my sister, who I looked up to all these years, had ended up with somebody who looks like a fucking caricature of a paedophile, who fucking made her cry at dinner in the sense of she's got tears in her eyes and she's trying to smile it off. Oh, what, like the fucking Wild Bunch, which you've never seen, I have, which your mum and dad always go on about. Just like that, mate. Yeah. I never saw the Wild Bunch before then. I'd just seen my sister smiling and crying at the same time. It's horrible. Far more horrible than it's in real life, I guarantee you. Because you know how much she fucking deserves to be made to feel great about herself. And you know, if this fucking little kite had just respected one fucking thing I'd done for him and just fucking given it back, they could be really happy together. He could have made her so happy, it would have been a complete opposite of this. It made me so angry that it just showed in the eyes. I didn't even fucking get angry. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, I don't like this. All of a sudden, in a low fucking tone. My sister knew I was about to kick off. Like, I was ready to kill him unless she reacted. She had to go nuts at me to basically say, I want him, Sam, I want him still. Basically, because she's that unhappy that me battering him meant that she wouldn't have anybody. Brilliant. Well done, Adam. Well done. She was your one fucking hero you could not admit how much you fancied it. You borrowed a game off her inadvertently to the point where she hated me for that. She hated me for it. Why? Because that was her game as well. I should have asked her. And I should have just been honest. But to tell you the truth, my faith was already crushed with you, Abba. The only reason why I gave you that game is because of the fact you said Laura fucking, no, you didn't say that. That was a gift that I got given afterwards after I got bothered. It was just knowing how much fun me and my sister had on this game at one point. And when, that's what I mean, when I played it on my own, I had to play it with my sister. She had to be the one playing it. I was a spastic at it. I would get angry nuts. Well, just lovely, mate. Lovely at playing the game and keeping you calm, letting you know what you needed to get to next, and clever at analysing, really smart mind, good at knowing, right, you need to go to that fucking part of the rock to get to the next one. Because you couldn't press jump, you had to get on these other fucking little blobs, and it was like, you misjudged that jump from here to there, you'd go straight to the lava. I fucking was terrible at it. Right at the beginning of the game, it was like one of those pacing pick missions, like, I just could not get my head around it. Like I could not get my head around piano because I have severe learning difficulties, which I used to love to take the piss out of, just like everybody else. Make out that that's the reason why I'm really, really angry. You didn't think, oh, maybe the reason why I'm really, really angry is because I was the one kid they could not admit had ADHD worse than anybody. Why? Because of the fact that fucking it would go to my head just like they always thought in school with me. He's a public wanker being told he has ADHD is just going to go to his head. He's going to be a nutter. Why? What? Because you would have given me self-worth for once and told me in medical terms what I am, a fucking nut. Oh, fucking, it could not give me praise like that to the point where they could give me a medical term of what I was. No, I would love to make out, oh yeah, it's just really angry. Never understood that I was just really angry because nobody understood me because I was spasticated. And then when I did show loyalty and respect to the people I thought deserved it, they never showed me anything back, and they just made out I bullied them when I was really upset that I did bully them. They couldn't even admit to their own fucking parents. Yeah, basically me and Dan had that sleepover. You remember when me and Dan had that sleepover? Yeah, well he didn't have a sleepover with either of us because he loved us both that much, and it ruined him, it crushed him. It was like you just literally took every bit of faith and hope he'd put, even more than Bob Dylan. It was like Bob Dylan was like a softened blow compared to this, because of how much I fucking dedicated myself to that. To the point where I've spoken to my mum, and it's the first time I've ever spoken to my mum where I've got more to say than she does. As if I'm the one being told, oh, I'm going to bed now. Why? Because I've actually got more to say than she. I feel I'm more. Well, why do you think my mother was so scary? Because she knew she was in the fucking right. She had fucking evidence to back up what she was saying. She would use it too, and she was fucking frightening about it. You know, because there's nothing more frightening than righteous rage. I saw it from my own mother enough fucking time that I became very scary just like her. She was raped, that's why she looked out for Lisa Evelyn more than everybody. She got raped when she was a child as well. She knows how bad it is. That was the only person, that was like a kindred sister basically. They were like kindred sisters, because they both suffered in a similar light, where at one point, my mother was very unpopular, and then suddenly she became popular because she grew a pair of bats, and she could dance. They raped her, made her feel like she was second pickings to some whore, so she felt completely abused. My granddad used to have to fucking walk, and she never said that she got raped. You just read between the lines of the fact that she's making you watch fucking Saturday Night Fever and trying to like hint, you know, by the fact that it's like she's there in it. Yeah. I even had a mate come with me because you weren't good enough of a mate. Sam Holmes had to stand in for you. You would have learnt about that as well. You would have learnt how much he suffered. Instead, you kissed my father's arse, like as if I had no respect or love for my father. It was just like, you inconsiderate cunt. You never even thought of me once in a good life. To the point, it's the first time I've ever voiced how much you irritate me. The point where you irritated me that much that I just fucking sensed you were there with your fucking shitty annoying girlfriend, basically. She pissed me off. It was like, I saw you with your girlfriend, and it was as if like, I'm fucking Jesus and you're both celebrating me. I just walked away. I thought, I'm not having this. I thought maybe, just maybe, your girlfriend's fucking nice, and you picked the right decision and all of this. As soon as I saw that, I thought, fuck that. It's like you basically formed a relationship celebrating me. So when you fucking, what you did, basically, you never had the balls to fucking stand with me as a brother once. Apart from one time when I'd already done all the fucking work, basically. All you had to do was stand there. And that felt great just standing there. It was like, mate, for fuck's sake, Adam, why do you think I fucking did that punch to you? And then you just hit me, and I was like, mate, I was trying to teach you something. I was trying to teach you, look, if you love somebody that much, you can fucking get that close to them. And you can trust them. And you just thought I was trying to get one over on you. You were just thinking that I was trying to inadvertently hit you without hitting. No, I was trying to show, look, you should trust me that much, that you know I'm never going to hit you. I can get this close and make it look like it's fake fighting, and I can get this close and I never hit you once, and then you just punched me and went, oh, sorry, as if like fucking, basically, this is what you were learning. And it was like, mate, you've just shat on everything I was trying to teach you. As a mate, I was trying to be your big brother. You never accepted I was your big brother, ever. You just treated me like shit. Point where you never got a big brother. I came back as a peanut, and fucking you still treated me like shit, if not more shit. Treated me like more shit, even though you knew how much a big brother would have meant to you, that when you did meet me, that's how it felt like. That, oh, fucking hell, I got big brother back, especially the fact that I went on about big brother Paul all the time. It was like, fucking hell, I got my big brother back. And I thought, yeah, no, you were just jealous as fuck that you were big brother, that you wanted to belittle me after everything I did for you in front of your sister, after you fucking made out my fucking mother was a bitch by just not speaking up once. To the point where your little sister gave my mother evils, which nobody's ever done. Like, that's why my mother had a lot of respect for her, because she thought, fucking hell, as much as the fact I'm gonna fucking teach her a lesson for this, because nobody gives me evils. Why? Because it's a fucking massive put down in a fucking in a class, and she was doing well that lesson. She hadn't done anything to upset Laura, but because Laura thought, yeah, she's a bitch to Sam, she just went out of her way to fucking show to her, I don't like you, I don't like what you do to Sam. That's how much she wanted to protect me, even though she was a 5-year-old kid up against Stella Scampion. She didn't know the fucking credentials of this woman. She just fucking went there. That's what made Laura, for the rest of her life, scared shitless of my mother, and her whole family turn on my mother to the point where I turned on her more than anybody. I've literally, for the first time, told her, out of complete respect and greatness for her, this is how much you mean to me, basically. You know, I love what you did here, there and everywhere. All right, you might have not done it perfect, but fucking hell, nobody fucks with me. Why? Because they can tell I have a right to be fucking angry. I put the fucking effort in. You did not. That was always my mother's argument to the rest of her family. They might have these jobs. Yeah, Pat was a doctor and all of this. Pat wouldn't even fucking clean her fucking house properly. It stank. That was my mother's point. They had fucking cleaners. Pat would just do the cooking. Pat didn't fucking maintain the whole house. She did occasionally when we came up, basically. But you could tell they had a cleaner. See it all over. Why? Because it was just the mentality of them was just completely different. Like the way I live now, and it's out of depression. When I get myself going and I realise, fucking hell, my mother really showed me how to clean shit. I can do it really well. I can do it, mint. But out of depression, I'll live like how my cousins lived. This is how they lived, basically. An absolute tip. Until the cleaners came, and the cleaners must have had a hell of a task. It's not easy cleaning. They make out, oh yeah, it's the shit job. You're not really worth anything if you're just a cleaner. That cleaner's the one who cleans the shit off the pan of your toilet. I knew and I saw personally with my own eyes how much of a difference a cleaner makes in a factory, an industrial cleaner. So how much of a morale boost I gave everybody. Well, one lad, a group of lads were racist to Dave. He was a really nice lad. The issue with Dave was he was gay, deep down, but his wife loved him enough, she had a kid with him. This lad just went out of his way to fucking bully Dave, and he was like the cool lad. He was a young, cool lad with the rest of the young, cool lads. I fucking singled them out and bullied them. Not only the fact that fucking I got fired, went down with the ship They loved me, mate. That's why Mark Wellard went out of his way to fucking say hello, even though I didn't have the self-worth anymore to say hello back, and it really disappointed him because of the fact that I fucking really went out of my way to boost the morale of this factory, make them feel really good about themselves again. Not what was more, I really went out of my way to make Craig feel good about himself. They did not expect that. They did not see that one coming. Craig was the one person no one got along with apart from Mark Wellard, and he just did out of fear. He just respected what he said because he knew that factory better than anybody. He was the fucking factory. As soon as you knew that, oh mate, I used to just from fucking Dead Man, just another day in Craig's kingdom. He loved that, mate. He used to love me fucking going, just another day in Craig's kingdom. His younger brother was the reason why fucking Luke Pritchard got put in prison. He got stabbed up by Luke Pritchard and he then got done. And Luke Pritchard had become a menace by this point. He was lethal. I was just glad he didn't hang around my areas. Basically, he was a fucking menace. Because of just, he literally, for the last 6 years, from 16 onwards, he lived feral. He became slightly feral. You know, he never had a fixed abode, always in somebody else's abode, who he's befriended so he can stay with them for so many nights until they get sick of him. It was like that. He was dangerous, basically. Well, he started stabbing up Craig Ryan's brother, and Craig Ryan's fucking famous. He's called Ziggy Ryan. He's like a famous hard nut from fucking Oswestry. But there was nothing harder than the work he did. So he saw a man get mangled at Hawkstone Park. And he hated the fact. Why? Because it made him cry more than anybody. The fact that how much I fucking went out of my way to respect Terence Michael Lester more than anybody, who I could see he was the one who fucking taught me my job. And then he passed away. I was the only person from his workplace who went to visit him in a hospital after I'd done a 10-hour shift and I cycled up myself. I brought my guitar. I wowed his fucking cousins. Kay was brilliant. Kay was the one who told me about Doncaster's. She could see I was just smoking crack every day. She was like, my uncle, Terence Mike, this is why I loved him so much, because Kay had told me about him beforehand. My uncle, Terence Michael Lester, he works harder than any man. It's amazing. You've got to see it, basically. It's worth seeing. Better than this shit. And it just inspired me. And the penny started rolling. And she loved the fact that not only did I get that job, see exactly what she meant, but I went to visit him in the hospital. I read him an excerpt about the fact that it was like Terry Venables. You know, he wouldn't put you down. He'd just lead by example, basically. I think it's something to do with the quote. That he wouldn't get nasty at you for making a mistake. He'd go, hey there, matey, and then he'd do it to show you again. This is where you went wrong. Hey, mate, and then he'd just carry on. Point where you'd be shitting yourself knowing he's given you some of the best information out of all of everybody. And now he's died. What if I cannot remember this shit? He got him. I had like a couple of weeks blank head, just like making some major blunders before it just sinked in again. As it sank in, got my head round the place, fucking sorted out that racism to the point where I left those two lads friends again. Because, mate, I was good at bullying, like I said. He bullied Dave in a fucking... And I was the cleaner. I was the one on the outside. I was never in the meetings where the bosses... And that's where he got him. So I was always on the outside, in the factory, amongst the machinery, still humming. I was the one who did the dig. I haven't seen somebody do a dig as good as that since Terence Michael Lester. Why? Because I was trained by Terence Michael Lester. Craig was the only one gutted because he thought, well, no, you shouldn't have framed him. He was actually, since Terence Michael Lester, our best worker we've had as a labourer. He was the only one I actually loved. Because the one I did love
because I felt sorry for him. He found out he was a paedophile. He didn't even bring it up with me. He took my bollocking on the chin, because he would never fucking talk me down, and then personally went up to Adam Price, I think it was. I can't remember the second name. Adam, Joe, they were good lads. You know, they loved their Joe loved his Spider-Man. He was a fucking legend. He was like, mate, I'm not your boss. I was like, mate, you're driving away in an executive fucking Audi and I'm on a racing bike. How are you not my boss? It made him feel good about himself. Not many people made him feel good about the fact that he was only 24, he was working a really good job and he had a wife and a child. He just got into Spider-Man again in a big way so he could impress his kid, and all his knowledge on Spider. I thought he was mint. Loved the team I was in. Loved every single one of them. Mark was the geezer who gave me it was just brilliant. Point where they knew how much I loved Laura. Fucking one geezer who looked like Dr. Carr, fucking put Laura up as his, do you like my girlfriend? So you have a joke, and it was, you know, you could tell he looked like Dr. Carr. He was mint. So fucking I got along with him well. Another guy, Tony, he made me a fucking chain which had a guitar on it, off his own back. I even got that paedophile. This is why I went out of my way to destroy that paedophile's fucking reputation in that place and get him fired. I basically said, it's you or me. It's him or me. And Julie saved me. And they just realised, fucking hell, actually, he's the one we want. Fuck the other one off, if he's going to be this adamant. When the manager was clueless. He didn't know what to do because he thought I was just going to walk. He didn't know what to say to settle me because he wanted more the merrier. He wasn't thinking laterally. But the fact I took Adam aside, gently told him, yeah, basically he was a paedophile, mate, and gave him all the reasons how I knew he was a paedophile. And he went out of his way to tell Craig that's the reason why he got him fired. And then Craig just respected the fuck out of me after that. It was like, right, well, you better learn the jobs that he did that impressed me, so you're fucking shipshape, basically. Because he knew a bit more about plumbing. Basically, when I was doing the other jobs, like fucking tell you the truth, I'd say the harder work, but tell you the truth, when you found out you were the one who was left out, I could have been wrong there. I could have misjudged him. He was a hard worker. He was a paedophile, though. He was a straight up, like, worst case of paedophile, apart from Stephen, paedophile carpenter. It was on that level. His dad, he teased his girlfriend, teased his father, kept telling his father about how his girlfriend's this, that and the other. So they fucked each other, had a kid, and then he tried to molest that child. It was serious shit. It was like, Jesus, to the point where they felt sorry for him because he was a very weak lad. But they thought he shouldn't be given a job of power like Doncaster's, because he was getting this deluded sense in his head that this was his daughter. When I basically did the fucking, that was one great thing Kwame taught me, was the virgin test. Find out if they're a virgin is you just talk about cigars. He smoked cigars, he set himself up in his own trap. I was like, you know, they rubbed on a virgin's thigh, and he just went bright red, and he went like that at me and laughed. And I just knew, he's a fucking virgin. So all of that shit about him having a kid is just untrue. So the reason why his wife, the girl he basically groomed and got his father to molest her, so she would have a child for him to molest her, she fucking knew. She was right, to the point where once I got him fired, I just saw this random girl come past with a pram, past the gate as if to say, like, thank you, man. I know what you did there. We were all very worried that suddenly he's got this job of power and you got him fired. Nobody was bucking. That was getting completely whitewashed, and they should have done a CBS check. They did not, because they were just happy to get 2 workers from the estates because of the fact they wanted to get rid of this drug dealer. Not only that, The other guy, who was a paedophile, didn't even take drugs. The only reason why our manager was thinking, well, one of them's got to, and we quite like me, so we're hoping he would get annoyed and take. He didn't smoke weed. You needed me to fucking get that weed, basically, so you could fuck that cunt. I say he's a cunt because I couldn't call him a kite, because as much as he was fucking jealous, he was just jealous of Matt. That's all it was, and he'd rinse him. That's all it was. Yeah, I like Matt, but Matt was full of himself. John was the guy who sat next to Kevin when Kevin was pissed every night. Fucking sat with him and watched naughty fucking ladies on the TV. He didn't feel like he was alone. That's why he got along with me so well. He just knew. And he worked 3 different fucking skilled positions. That's why they hated him and didn't want him there. Because he was the one, he was like Neil, basically. He was the one guy who was the geezer. He was just a fisherman. He just rinsed Matt a bit too much, and I thought it was a bit too harsh. But all it was years of being put down by Matt. I didn't argue against him. And he got put down by Matt that much that he fucking hated him. He'd just rip him. He would just bully that to the point where he bullied the fuck out of his manager, who was younger than him and didn't even work half the skills he worked. How the fuck did this guy end up as a manager? Because he kissed all the managers' arses. When he just got on with his work and he could work 3 different skill positions, he got a job like the next day. He was like, oh fuck, it's less pay, but he still got a job the next day. That's how fucking needed he, even though he had this all on him. No, the reason why he left his job and just got another job the next day was because if he did that, quit before they fucking, it wouldn't go on his record. I just went down with a shit. I thought, fuck it. To the point I made them scared of putting me in the fucking disciplinary room, to the point where Mark Wellard himself sheepishly entered the door because I was going fucking AWOL, basically, in the room. And they could just hear me shouting and going nuts. Mark Wellard himself was like, thinking like, oh my God, basically, even Mark Wellard himself, because of how much shit I'd done for them, just off my own back, he knew I had every fucking right to be as angry as I was. To the point where Dave Baker let me, he came down, basically, I could have battered him. He basically gave it to me on a plate. And he gave me a look in the eye to say, you do that, you're going to get done for assault. Wow, it'll be amazing. And yes, I will come down because this is how much you were worth. That I will even come down myself for you to batter me, basically, to speak your mind to me. And the fact that he did that made me cry. And I just got arrested instead. Just made me cry, mate. You can see, there was no hatred there. There was just love, Adam. There was just love, because he actually believed in what I did, because he just sat back, saw the difference, and then fucking thought fair play. We're actually sad to see him go. He even got Joe Johncox on the board of people who not normally there to cry her eyes out to show, look, this is how gutted we are that you're leaving.